Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Yeah.
This is very exciting because for the Monster Hunter World cover story, we went to Osaka, spent a couple days in the studio with that team. It is so interesting. On that trip, it seemed like the big vibe was like, we're rolling the dice, we're spending a lot of effing money on Monster Hunter World, I hope it pays off, and now we're living in a world where it's the best-selling Capcom game of all time.
They had producers that had 2 cigars in their mouths simultaneously.
I didn't think that was appropriate.
What?
Yeah, they kept burning money
They had
throughout all their
sunglasses shaped like dollar signs.
Yeah, and then they drove Ferraris out of like the 6th floor of the building, which I thought was unclear and
These are jokes. They're very cool guys.
They were very nice. And like, it was uncomfortable. They're very nice, but it was uncomfortable, you know, the amount of ass kissing they did when we walked in, where they're like, hey, we attribute some of the success of Monster Hunter World to that rapid fire video interview we did last time when you were here. And it's like, that's very sweet, you guys, but I don't think you can draw a one-to-one connection between that.
Yeah, as it turns out, the game was also very cool and fun.
Yes, and approachable, which is nice.
Yeah.
And so I got into the series with World. Cork, I think you're largely in the same boat, right?
Yeah, I had several aborted attempts to get into it before because, in my opinion at least, those other games not good.
Okay, Dantak, you're the old school expert.
So yeah, I'd been playing for a while, on and off, game to game, but I took over the main review cycle for the games after Tim left.
Right.
But I was already, like I said, invested, but I didn't play every single one of them. But ever since then, I've been playing everything, including the offshoots like Stories, which is, you know, Monster Hunter Pokemon, for those of you not familiar with it.
Yeah, a lot of fans out there of that one.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting diversion. And so it's been amazing to see it become more accessible and approachable. Some would say that it's still not. But compared to the other games, this one is very.
Oh, absolutely.
And something that's come up a lot is the old school fans, you know, griping about how it's not hard enough. Is that going to be addressed in Iceborne?
It definitely seems so. So they're definitely trying to walk a line between, okay, now we're adding master rank, right? There's going to be difficult fights, but we don't want to make it impenetrable. We still want average consumers to be able to beat this stuff. Yeah. But it does pick up after... you know, the end of World, and so expect the difficulty to ratchet up appropriately. Like that.
Like when you buy the expansion, you can't start that at the beginning, like you just said. It is something that takes place. It's a continuation of the story. So
after you beat Xeno'jiiva,
so yeah, you can't even access this stuff until it is endgame content. There's nothing for the new player. You have to go through the game first.
Correct.
It has some stuff for the new player in that, like the clutch claw mechanic, which is the kind of the biggest gameplay addition that lets you kind of grapple onto monsters directly.
Which isn't fair. Anybody can ride the monster now, which as an insect glaive guy, that's my jam.
But
everybody
hang on.
Stay away.
It didn't seem like it was traditional rodeoing. It was a different kind of attack, yes?
That's true.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's a different thing you got to weave into the whole like combat.
Yeah,
schematic.
real quick, like they're thinking with that is they wanted more options for controlling the monster, being able to maneuver them, right? So you're like blasting your slinger ammo into their face as you're clutch clawed onto their head. You can steer them, slam them into walls, stuff like that.
So that's crazy. With the clutch claw and the steering, I really do wonder how that's going to impact old monsters, especially like you just take an Elder Dragon and drive them into a wall so that everybody can jump on them? Is that something you can do?
Well, you can only do it in certain moments, right?
when they're flinched. So you kind of like you want to stagger them at it because like when I first started playing it, they had a demo that was available a couple times too. So by now a lot of people have had a chance to play it and experience it. But like I immediately saw that I had this ability to grapple. I was like, watch this, and immediately was like it just repelled me and I fell on the ground.
Yeah, even like, there's they added a new quest which is called Learning the Clutch, and it's just a little 1-star quest where you're just going up against a great Jagras in like this arena and just beating the crap out of him.
Not so great now, is he?
But even that, I think we had a surprisingly difficult time getting the hang of it and kind of getting in the new flow.
I would say that might be an experience isolated to you because it was fairly easy. You want to edit that out, the hero edit.
Insults.
Yeah.
It was an interesting environment though, like just to set up this trip a little bit, because we went on this trip the exact same time that Leo and the team went on the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order trip.
That's right.
Which was, if you're listening to this podcast, it was when we were forced to air that 3DS special. That was the reason for that special theme, because we had to pre-record that one. And it was also right when the Game of Thrones finale ended.
Yeah.
So it was
a finale.
But it was a weird timing thing, right? So it was like before E3, we were basically playing the E3 demo, and it felt like doing a little bit of like focus testing for them to see how the E3 demo was going to go for the general public, because we were they were like, hey, just go ahead and jump in without any instructions. And so we jumped in and then slowly turned around, and it felt like half the Monster Hunter development team was like sitting behind us staring.
They
Specifically,
said this great Jagras fight looks Impossible. Oh wait, no, it's too easy.
I bet they got some good feedback from that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we beat T-Rex and stuff. Like we had a fine time.
Like if you're shopping the demo around, you really don't want a super experienced player doing that. You want something that everybody can sort of like at least attempt.
I still think they were horrified by my insect glaive moves.
I am horrified by your insect glaive moves.
They said, you know that there's an insect in this insect glaive.
Specifically a insect. But they added like new combos to all the weapons, so it's kind of fun. There's new moves for everybody to understand. They were very sensitive about like, look, anybody can use a slinger at any point now, but that was typically just a sword and shield thing. But like we added new combos to sword and shield, so don't think that that's like useless at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably still never going to use the slinger, especially now that I got a clutch claw to use, right? Like.
Okay, all right. There's still slinger ammo all over the place, right? They have the beetles.
I will be maxed on all of that and probably never use it. So break it down for me.
Please.
Do we know how many new monsters we're going to get?
This is something we should communicate.
Yeah, I think so.
No, we don't.
Okay. Do we have a ballpark that is do we have a general ballpark?
They weren't specific. Do you remember the exact quotes of what they said? It still seems like
super cagey about that.
Very cagey. And it seems like they're very much in the camp too of even with the Monster Hunter World cover story trope. They're like, well, I think with the bump up in fidelity, don't expect as many as, some previous 3DS games had.
Right.
And with this game, it seems like it's going to be on that similar curve, right?
Well, it's still a tough benchmark because you never know with those. Like you just get tons of monsters and stuff. Like we get one location. Granted, it's a big one, right?
Hoarfrost Reach.
Right.
It's the biggest they've ever made, but you're in there and it's like this feels like a Monster Hunter Reach, and it doesn't feel like
so it feels
night
like
and day.
It feels like very similar in size and scope to the other regions that are available.
But the weird thing,
a lot of it is blocked off as well.
So there's like 3 areas, it looks like 3, for Hoarfrost Reach, right? And they unlock throughout the course of the story. So like the first one is kind of the forest. The middle section focuses more on ice, and it's like a higher elevation.
Yep.
The mysterious third region, we know that it's even at a higher elevation.
Oh, boy.
And it's going to be a little bit nefarious up there. But outside of that, details are thin.
Okay. We do know we're getting, one new Elder Dragon at least?
So that's Velkhana, yeah.
Is that the big boss, or is there something higher than that? Or do we not know?
We
don't know.
It seems like that is their key monster, right? Like it's on the package. It's kind of the equivalent of Nihirigante last time, you know what I mean? So kind of think of them in that realm. We also revealed with the cover that Barioth is in the game, which I was amazed. Like I knew, he's popular, but like the amount of fandom for Barioth, and then, we had like former intern Lewis on Twitter explaining it to us, just being like, oh no, it's because he's a cat and people like cats, dude.
Cat tornadoes.
Yes.
But I was more interested to see, I don't know if they showed you or if you can't talk about it. I honestly don't know anything about your trip except for the cover story, but like I'm desperately wondering if Kezu is in the game.
We did not see Kezu. I know a lot of people want to know this. And just to be clear with the community, we will not be revealing any more monsters throughout this month of coverage at GameInformer.com/Iceborne. Anything we had, we packaged it like slinger ammo, and shot it in the face, which is the cover story.
But we will have new like video and fun stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Great.
So there will be new videos. It's a lot of. We just posted the rapid fire interview yesterday. I'm excited about this one where we kind of got a lot of insight into just the development of Hoarfrost Reach and details about that environment. We're going to kind of take a tour, and Jeff Cork and I will kind of summarize a lot of their points.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Focus on the sound design. We got to do something which I'm really excited about as well, where we took like the 3 lead creators for this game, developers, and we just filmed them fighting a T-Rex.
That's awesome.
Which was great, and it was a little bit of a weird pitch, right? Of like, oh, T-Rex is in the E3 demo, but even like Capcom was like, oh yeah, these 3 have never been recorded actually playing the game in this fashion. So I think they were a little bit nervous about it, but Ryozo, the producer, is obsessed with using the hammer in the game, and so it's fun to just have so much gameplay of like, all right, person who's been working on Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter 1, how good are you at that hammer? Let's see it, man.
He's quite good, as
Every
it turns out.
every hit is nailing the head for that stagger. Yeah,
I would imagine so, yeah. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, I watched that footage and it made me want to play the hammer.
Oh, really?
It looks too easy.
Yeah. So anyways, on the monster front, again, just communicating with people who are anticipating a lot. Not to say that new monsters won't be revealed throughout this month. Capcom might have plans later on, but as far as our coverage, we're going to be diving in deep on the game's development from here on out and not revealing any new monsters.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Palico, there is one new Palico. Is that right? There's a new Palico ability.
There's a new Palico ability.
Also new, when you create your Palico, in the build that we saw, there were 2 new variants and like skins and stuff like that on that base ability. But
it's like a Lynx-like version, I would think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this Palico resurrects you Is that what I understood?
Apparently.
That's what we learned from the rapid fire. We
Yes.
did not see a lot of that stuff in
So we
action.
don't. So that's all you got was the rapid fire on that, because that's what I'm going on right here. Is where
Yes.
Okay. So
He does the- he
a
does
resing
the
power.
thing.
Palico seems very powerful. So that's why I'm asking if you didn't get to see it in action. That's okay.
Did
Yeah.
not get to see it in action, no.
Maybe the most intense thing we did see in action is we got to hunt Velkhana.
You did?
Like the new Elder Dragon, yeah.
No, that's okay.
and
Go
we had
on.
some pros like on our team, and I don't think we could have taken that thing out if it wasn't for them.
Oh, yeah.
But you did beat it.
We
Yes.
did.
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
were in. You guys were in like stacked gear, or
Yeah, I'd imagine so. They set us up very much so ahead of time.
so did it have like a traditional like Elder Dragon weakness where you're supposed to exploit a certain element or use some defenses, or was it just a straight up?
From my vantage point,
From
it
your
was a
vantage
little
point.
bit straight up. Like
Okay.
Velkhana, it makes a lot of ice walls. Like imagine May
Yes.
in Overwatch, right? Like that's the big thing. Is they'll
Yeah.
fly around. They want it to be this elegant, bird-like wingspan. It also has like a whip tail and stuff that you have to
Sure.
look out for. But a lot of the fight is like running up to it and just this ice
Yeah.
wall appears in front of you. You have to navigate around it.
I
stuff
think
like
the
that.
experience is not unlike being a very wealthy tourist who can afford to have someone basically pick you up to the top of Everest.
Yes.
Oh God.
So they were kind of like our
Gotcha.
Sherpas, the unsung heroes who we watched as they killed Velkhana. And we got some hits in, obviously, but yeah, they did the heavy lifting.
And they were like, the big thing about all these trips over there is they are so focused on like the ecology, the ecosystems for these
Sure.
environments, the like scientific nerdiness about all these creatures. And so it was fun asking them about Velkhana, and Jeff Cork had to be like, all right, this is a nerdy question, but is how we started most questions. Like, how does this formation of ice work for Velkhana? And they're like, well, we did a lot of research into supercooling. So technically Velkhana shoots out a liquid, and then the second it hits the ground, that's when it supercools and becomes this ice wall. It also uses that to like coat itself in ice as it's
Right.
attacking you and stuff.
Okay.
So it'll like kind of recharge throughout the fight and reform ice over itself for, higher defense.
Yeah, one of the
Sure.
coolest moments is like when you first encounter Velkhana. It's just chilling, not doing anything. You can like walk around. Shut up. You can walk around it, and it isn't angry or upset or anything. And then you hit it, and then it jumps into or flies into
No,
the air.
it's an Elder Dragon. It doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
I love that idea. It's not the scariest. I think it's kind of beautiful. Nihirigante, I don't know if he's the most beautiful creature, right? But Velkhana, they're going for elegant, right? And just to have this ice dragon feel.
So you said it coats itself in ice. So I guess
Yes.
that leads me to believe that fire might be an effective tool to break down a shield on it or something.
that's a reasonable theory.
Some other Elder Dragons use mechanics like that.
Yeah,
Right.
and one of the things that they did talk about during the visit was that they wanted to really, they weren't satisfied with the way that elemental damage was kind of represented in Monster Hunter World proper, so they're kind of buffing that and making sure that it's communicated to players better
Sure.
when you are doing
When you're
elemental
doing the right
damage.
thing, yeah.
So presumably fire attacks.
Presumably. Obviously, we don't know,
Presumably.
but it makes sense since
It
it's
would
an
be
ice wall.
very strange if fire just glanced off of this thing.
Yeah. Also, fighting Barioth, did you have big thoughts on him, Cork?
It's fast.
It's fast. It's cool. Like just seeing, I think with this amount of fidelity, him like kind of jump up on the wall, and there's just like ice flying everywhere. He's just, like a manic cat, just scratching everywhere, jumping all over the place, and
Yeah.
just ice shards are flying all over the place. Makes the tornado, all that jazz.
So do we know if there's going to be New Game Plus for the expansion content? So sort of in the same cycle as you have in the initial, you go and beat all the stuff, and then you can beat them again for the plus gear.
We
For the
don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't think they were clear on
Okay.
that.
They did, I actually have a direct quote that
Oh.
from the producer. He said it's going to be a little different, talking about like post-game content. It's going to
Yeah.
be a little different between what was there in World. We'll have more details about that later.
I love that. That's a great line.
Yeah.
But my interpretation of what I've read and seen from you guys is that there is G rank.
It's just called
But it's
Master
called
Rank.
Master.
It's called Mastering. So
Exactly.
like that'll open up on the board once you start Iceborne and the
Okay.
story stuff here, right? Also, one of the more shocking things I think was in the rapid fire is really what drew it out is just how much you'll be returning to old areas.
Yeah.
Like it's got like an overall remix, and like we haven't played an Ultimate style game like you have before, Dan. So I don't know
Sure.
how common this is, but that was amazing where they said half of Iceborne's story will take place in the old areas, and there'll be stuff like. Bombero, like the kind of moose buffalo thing, like
Yes.
he has a wide range of where he roams to, so he'll be roaming back to previous regions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the story. That's fascinating to me.
Because I want to know.
I know there's a story, but I in Monster Hunter games, the story is I'm getting stronger by killing monsters and making loot. I mean, I don't. That's for me.
Yeah, we saw the start of the story, and so some things they were seeding in the start is like the handler said something along the lines of like, "Hey, you never told me why you came to the new world after all." So I don't know if they're diving into the origin of the player character and the fivers overall.
You're a prisoner. You did some awful things.
Horrific deeds. No, that's not true.
We found a new place. There's monsters here. Let's go kill them.
That's basically
exactly.
so that really is it, right? Like the Legianas are like flying over there in the beginning. You've seen it in some of the trailers, and then it's like a meeting with the guild to be like, hey, how do we get to this new continent? Okay, let's bring an airship over there and then actually establish Celiana, which is the new base.
And I want to be clear, I'm not like mocking the story or anything. It's just like it's just such an unnecessary device that I don't know. It's just,
still can't skip cutscene.
I know, and I'm really disappointed about that. Like that is a major gripe, especially through replaying through content. It's like, oh god, here we go again.
Yeah. Also, they said it's a shorter story overall than World, but it has the same amount of cutscenes as World. So please look forward to it as they communicate it.
That one astonishes me. Like, why not just give the option? It's a button press.
I know. Certain
I know things are more
frustrating.
complicated than that, but come on, it's
Yeah. Celiana, the new hub.
Yeah.
First of all.
whoa, new hub.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We used the music for Celiana. That's in the coverage trailer if you watch that on Game Informer's YouTube channel or anything like that. The music in that new hub, so good. Better than the music in Astera. It is just, that composer is just out of this world.
It's all I want to hear at Christmas time.
So new cook, new housing.
Yep.
Is there a new piggy?
There is.
Yeah, Poogie is wearing like a full parka this time around,
right,
which is very cute, very adorable.
He's got a little icicle on his snout.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's adorable.
And so they originally said that they moved the Meowscular chef over to the new location, but then it didn't make sense to have him outside. So now it is
cold.
a new chef, and they kind of given her more of a grandmother feel. Her design was based on Russian nesting dolls. And so it's a lot of like stew that she's cooking up and stuff. For the overall environment, though, they're like, we want it to feel like your grandmother's house. That's the vibe of the dinner in here, which is interesting.
Any other new like additions to the town that we didn't have in the old hub?
Not that we saw. We didn't get to explore it as thoroughly as we would have wanted. But overall, they were emphasizing that like it's going to be a lot more compact and things aren't going to be so spaced out as they were in Astera. Like there's not going to be lifts and elevators and stuff. It's like we understand what people want to get to and we're going to let them get to it faster.
Yep.
Which is very nice.
Is there a new like boat rider that comes with different materials?
Did not get to see that. This was breezy, man.
I hear you.
The room services are now outside of the room. Was a little note. Jeff Cork, you noticed that carts are being loaded up in the new town, and they were very happy that you noticed that. On the social front, they said there's going to be a more fun and social kind of gathering place. But a lot of that like social team up and how that works overall, they were still pretty cagey on. We still saw sessions IDs and stuff like that. So that's going to be carrying over.
Sure.
But they said they're going to be revealing new details on any changes to like teaming up, hopefully in the near future. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, if you want to get nerdy, because a lot of this trip was, getting nerdy about etymology and stuff.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. Celiana is based on the word for moon, and Astera is star. I'm not sure what language that's in exactly, but yeah. So there's a new director this time around. Takuda, who directed Monster Hunter World, we saw him on like the first day. He's working on mysterious new projects. I'm sure you could probably put together what's going on there.
He's doing auto chess for Monster Hunter. Is that what we're doing?
He revealed that. Yeah.
Combine 3 Volcanas.
No, but the new director Ichihara, he directed Generations Ultimate before. He was an interesting dude. He's very into wrestling, Kenny Omega, Japanese wrestling specifically. Also, both days we're at the studio wearing sandals with Coca-Cola sandals.
Yep.
I love it.
He's a very chill dude.
I love it. That's mad chill. That's exactly the kind of chill you need to make, fearsome beasts that eat people.
I think so. And like we asked him about like, his specific taste in Monster Hunter and what he's bringing to the project that other directors wouldn't. And because he's always kind of like the ultimate director, he's like, I just see myself, the role is not to break the core game, but then to like give the fans what they want, to come in and just satisfy fans and layer this new additional stuff on, which is a sweet role that no one, I don't think, will complain about.
We want grandma.
Yeah, anything else about the trip stand out to you, Cork?
No, we've got some more stuff coming out. We got some profiles on some monsters with some interesting behind-the-scenes information.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
I can't tell you everything right now. Come on, man.
Expect a lot of behind-the-scenes information. That's going to be the overall theme for the month here. Also, speaking of behind-the-scenes, I asked him, and Quirk said I was crazy for being interested in this. But obviously, everybody's in love with like the RE engine. It's like the big theme, right? It's like, oh, that RE engine can do no wrong. It's batting 1,000 or whatever. So I asked if they ever thought the RE engine could work for a future Monster Hunter title, maybe next gen, stuff like that. So like, oh no, we're sticking with the world engine. We don't switch engines just because we want to. It's a case by case basis for the future of the series. And also when asking about the future of the series, and like whether they'll do a global launch for games in the future. Which they cited as being a main reason why they think World did so well, is that global launch. So like, oh, we don't know when we'll make the next game, what the company wants us to do. So everything's very cagey about what they're doing in the future. You know, there was like some mention, I think, from one of the tech leads talking about adding like depth of field with the snow. And like, we're adding this to the current Monster Hunter engine. So, okay.
Current.
Maybe that's a translation issue, but like any of those like little nuggets that you can get
really
for just hints at the future is nice. But yeah, coming up in the future, more impressions and details on Velkhana, Barioth, new gameplay, stuff like that. Not showing off Velkhana, though. I'm very sorry.
And what about Khezu?
No, Khezu. Although I saw it, I think it was on the Reset Era forum, somebody brought up like, yeah, I think Game Informer like accidentally leaked a new monster in the episode of New Gameplay today that you were on,
We
Dan.
have definitely been talking about, because I didn't know, right? I still don't know.
Right, but you were just saying like, oh, this reminds me of a previous ice area where that thing was in it.
Exactly, and I fought him like 100 times because I really wanted something from him. But he was in an icy cave, and that's who I was talking about.
Right, but not in this game.
No.
Like, you don't know,
I
and
have
we
no
don't
idea.
know if Khezu's in it. But so Khezu was in an icy cave before?
Yes.
Honestly, we have no idea, but that seems pretty likely at that point, right?
I want him back.
It seems like if Barioth is in there, they're...
It could be. There's the problem is they have so many monsters to draw from their ice terrain in previous games. So.
Right. Hey, GameInformer.com/Iceborne. Let us know what you want to know about the game. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.